Hi guys, Storyteller Alex here, and I got a special treat for you guys. I'll be reading from my book, the prologue and a bits of chapter 1. So sit back, relax, get your hot chocolate to drink and some snacks. But after reading, I hope we get to discuss more on the chapters we read and maybe answer the poll on Instagram if you guys want more of the more content like this. So with that being said, let's get ready. Here's the book right here. I know it's a little bit thick, but let's enjoy. A long time ago, during Earth's infancy, an asteroid slowly descended towards the planet's surface. As it was meant to bring death and destruction to the land. However, just before the fire impact, a crystal-like piece broke off from the asteroid. It fell in the world's ocean, where it swallowed two young hatchlings, prehistoric hatchlings, turtles, into a strange, empty parallel world in the mystical dimension before disappearing into nothingness. Safe and nurtured by this open dimension, the two prehistoric turtle hatchlings, soon to be called Abijah and Kurma, naturally grew slowly, but grew into adults. But at the same time, their bodies started a series of changes that will soon create a world like their former home because of this unique environment they lived in. Upon reaching adulthood, the prehistoric turtles unexpectedly, through a prolonged period of living in this dimension, transformed into colossal creatures, massive like continents, known now as Titan turtles. With their size increasing by the day, Abijah and Kurma gradually began to create the essential supporting components in the empty world. From their tears, they created the ocean. From their shells, they created land. And finally, the creature made air from a single breath from their nostrils. With all these components together, this new world, this dimension had a name. Aenia. A-A-C-E-E-N-A. After creating this new world, the portal to Aina would open and fluctuate across time, swallow many creatures of many periods, and in the process, changing their bodies as well. A few hundred years after the arrival of creatures from Earth, a critical mutation in animals took place in Aina. Whilst other creatures grew, others changed. Certain animal species, such as cats and serpents, evolved into humanoid species, later known as the Nguru and Hisha societies. Once Earth creatures had settled in Aina, it was not long before the arrival of humans, and they would bring They form unique civilizations and cultures, and then within the years after civilizations has formed worldwide, a strange occurrence affected the offspring of the second generation of all humans, Hisha and Nuguru. Children began to display unusual abilities to create and manipulate natural elements and alter the physical structures to match the appearance of animals of the new world. These children will be later known as Elementari. While the entire world enjoyed peace and harmony, there was one man's natural curiosity and ultimate lust for power that would have lasting implications for the entire world. When the ancient order called the Elders recorded them all matters of his knowledge in Aina, among the first 1,000 historical entries within the scroll of knowledge was the name of a cruel but powerful king known as Raga Mathura, with a name equal to the words tyrant and evil. The Emperor Shaisha Imperium led the kingdom into prosperous period as a once benevolent young prince. Still, on a fateful day, he came across an alchemist. During the worldwide search for a cure for the former king, his father, he had a deadly illness. Believing that the rumors of that an old hermit near the outskirts possessed healing powers, the young prince offered himself as a student of the hermit. To learn Garahara Yagna, or the mysterious art known as dark science, in exchange for the cure for his father and a place to the imperial court, would prove to be a terrible exchange. Thus the prince and the hermit struck a fateful deal between the two men. Under the teachings of the old hermit, the young prince started dabbling in the dark arts, unaware of its frequent usage would have a devastating effect on him and the entire world. Every day the young king and the old hermit dabbled in the dark arts. The world would feel its harmful effects. In a span of several nights, both titan turtles blindly collided with one another, forming a massive landmass that stretched all the way to the corners of the world. While the creatures forcefully fused with intense pain, the process of solidifying for 100 years until the ancient turtles had become stone in a single span of just a few days. Yet the consequences dark science came via another means. A great earthquake would occur in the 100th year. As a result of the young prince's failed experiment, all in one night, the great earthquake turned Abijah and Kurma into small continents. Thus, in a matter just of hours, after a millennium, both ancient creatures finally rumbled. Just as pieces of both animals sank beneath the waves, the world entered a period of turbulence and chaos, affecting both small villages to massive kingdoms and empires. Following the chaotic fires of the great earthquake, Raga Mathura will return the world as a completely different man. From the ashes of his fallen kingdom, the once benevolent prince transformed himself into an evil, egoistic god emperor of the new established Second Shaisha Imperium. But slowly and surely, the Second Imperium began to conquer, invade territories beyond its traditional borders. Then it started. Terrible acts of violence that would cement the emperor's name in the annals of Iena's history. When the world was at its darkest, a single man rose from the nothingness. He began to plant the seeds of a great war that would end Ragamatura's tyranny and give rise to peace again. Very incredible things. We'll start now. This man's name was Jomei Ito Kuramoto, a brilliant flame elementary who had a strong belief in the fundamentals of freedom for all humans and other creatures. Jomei spent many years in his youth and adult life traveling across the world, risking his own persecution and death to teach his philosophy to the countless people. But little did he know that his actions would begin to attract students who would not only inherit his teachings, but nurture them for centuries to come. As the world remained enslaved to Ragnamatras, the seeds of his empire's destruction soon began to take root with a critical encounter. The Bushi people, descendants of both the kingdoms of Endless Forest and Earth's country of Japan's samurai. Like other kingdoms affected by the earthquake, the Bushi suffered the most. The Bushi that most population took to the sea to find a new home to settle. So basically, that group split in half. One would stay in their original homeland, and the others went off to sea to find another place, which unfortunately would be the center of the Shaisha Imperium. Upon meeting the new arrivals over the sea, the emperor allowed them to reside in his land out of curiosity. He had heard stories of the Bushi people during his youth, who had the reputation of being fierce warriors. So a strange move was made by the emperor. He would make them temporary allies, so his military conquest of the world would remain unchallenged. However, the further ahead, through this temporary coexistence, Ragamatura would still come to regret this decision. He noticed that the Bushi people were slowly becoming a threat to his rule. Their numbers swelled by the day. Their small settlement would slowly go into a set of villages spread across the region. To encounter this ever-increasing threat, Ragamatura would try to impede the growth of the Bushi people by arranging for his new neighbors to pay him tribute and human volunteers in form of children as an exchange for continued peace and goodwill. Well, let's see what happens after that. So for many months, the Bushi people tolerated the imperial territory system, but it was until a child survivor from Matura's experiments returned to the village, only to perish in his mother's arm. Outrage and quickly turned into a declaration of war that would inspire other countries under the subjugation of the Second Xia Imperium to defy their oppressors openly. Once they declared war on the Imperium, the Bushi people united their villages, combined them, and created the city of New Kyoto. Now joining, the city would then choose a village leader named Nobunaga Inugami to become their leader and military general. What a big surprise! Taken aback by their sudden defiant action, many of his territories, Ragamatura attempted to subjugate his rebellious entities with his armies and legions of monstrous creatures born of his uses of dark science. Still, his actions only emboldened countries into uniting with New Kyoto. Once the war began between the Xia Imperium and New Kyoto and its allies, the endless word struggle will be associated with the battle of freedom from tyranny. As a result, countless people, soldiers, innocent people will perish. But both sides wage war, the Great War, at every corner of the world. Jomei continues traveled along with his wife. And as a result of his world travels, Jomei will gain numerous students from Maina. But out of his many pupils, 4 orphan students would stand out and would have critical roles in future events. Aya Orochi, a Hishya human hybrid. Chisana Ryushi, a dragon nomad student. Punyara, a Nugurus huntsman, and Ursa Bearslayer. Each of these 4 students who would each create a significant impact in Ina's history, inspired by the tale of Lord Jayman and Lady Kunlup, the first individuals to defy Ragamatura's rule. Jomei Ito created the Jaiku Knights, trained future heroes that would influence Ina's future. Then, as the war slowly ended, New Kyoto and its allies would gain victory over the mighty Imperium armies. Still, 2 events will change the war and start a series of events that will change Aina forever. First earth-shattering event was the arrival of a seafaring barbarians from another land. Upon arriving in the land of the country of Jiuna, the barbarians would slowly gain their infamous name via acts of violence on series of small coastal land. Realizing the potential these warmongering newcomers had, Ragamatura, who was impressed by the violent nature of the newcomers, decided to have the Imperium ally itself with these individuals. Thus, after solidifying their allegiance via blood oath, the Protea Hara was born, and soon after, under the influence of their future ally, they will become feared as technologically advanced soldiers. The second but most crucial event in this turbulent war period came about a prophecy made by the elders that brought fear and concern to the mighty Mata Raguna. At the 215th era of the sun, On the fourth month, when the star shines the brightest, a child will be born with a mark of a four-pointed star and green eyes. The chosen will be the descendant of lightning, the ocean spirit, and fire's hammer. He or she will gain great powers beyond comprehension, but at the cost of the very same person will come to witness personal tragedies. Yet, that one person alone will smite ultimate evil and bring peace to the world again. Near the war's end, the Imperium had been pushed back to the capital in Giona. Eventually, both the Aina Alliance and the Second Imperium fought a dynamic battle versus good and evil between the newly freed countries of Aina. The Protégés in the Second Shisha Imperium during the last weeks of the war, many heroes and villains alike would not take part of this battlefield. Still, one victor will indeed rise up on top. It would. Aina and his people now are liberated from the regime of Raga Matura. The people celebrated their nearly freedom. Still, they became unaware that the agents of evil only retreated from the shadows, waiting for an opportunity to strike and restore the power on the world once again. So while allies won the war against the Imperium, the four students of Shomeya Ito Kuramoto helped open a school to honor the fallen teacher's memory. Furthermore, they imparted the teachings of their teacher to countless future generations of students from all social classes. This is the legend of Summer John, destined to end evil. What a crazy prologue. This world started nice until old Raga started messing things up. Alright, Chapter 1, the beginning of the tale. It is May 1st, era 332. The end of the era, and the rising of the Natics. By the way, folks, era, A-E-R-A, it's a year. So, era, for example, 332 is 2032. The world is following the Gregorian calendar, yet the year is different. Well, it's another end of the year, the rising of the next in the Jaiko Academy, an institution created by Orochi during the post-Great Global War period. The area has grown exponentially since its founding in era 146, or in our year, 1946. The castle-like structure, which had been home to the Jaiko Knights and future members for at least a few hundred years, has now transformed into an oversized city city-like structure are surrounded by large buildings resembling the castle wall. Currently, the academy dominates Giuna's northern tip, but the school has a reason for its extensive expansions. Over the educational years, the number of students has been growing and growing to the point the castle and its surrounding structures could not hold the number of students. So, with the aid of Shogun Akihiro Tanakashi and the many other, the Japan Academy constructed additional facilities for its students, modernized them using the technology that Proteher shared with the rest of the world during Era 146. And that was due to a treaty that the group did with the rest of the world, like a disarmament treaty that basically tells them you're not allowed to make an army and stuff. You're not allowed to make weapons, but you are allowed to help the world advance like the way they did. The start of the new school year was to begin with a roll call and the school clan placement for new students. However, Era 332 was finishing due to the upcoming lunar solstice predicted by scientists. The number of first-year students was 500,000, a record-breaking number not seen since Era 160 or 1960. Yet soon the announcement of the World Cup came on, and one student was so excited that she rushed out of the Becker family's residential building, a structure built for Jago Academy masters of certain school clans who have families. Her name was Summer John, and even if she and her students lived at the academy with their parents, they had to go to another school for many years, known as the Academy Preparatory School, which basically is a specialized charter school, a place to prepare them and to give them introductory information that they would be used at the academy. In addition, they will learn how to start using their elemental abilities to defend themselves after schooling was complete. Ahead of her two siblings behind her, Summer ran straight towards the enormous ancient courtyard in the academy's castle-like main building for roll call and school clan placement. Before the John siblings entered the academy, their parents, who were teachers, requested the academy to keep them together. In the first through the third years of their school education, they feared that those who attacked them when they were attended the school and they were young would return to harm them. Not to mention the youngest daughter had a detailed description fitted the detailed description of the individual of a particular philosophy that would predict the ultimate end of evil. As Summer, her brother Liam, her older sister Luna ran to the great courtyard, someone in a tower closest to the yard was looking through the windows. Was staring ambitiously at Summer and whispered to himself, I wonder if she's be better yet, the chosen one, as told in the prophecy. I hope she's his great grandfather, because if she was, then I'll put her in my class. But first, I must get her file, said the mysterious figure while he walked away from the window and joined the group of Jaiku Academy's master, who were new teachers for the new year. After arriving in the courtyard, an area of the academy once used to sign the treaty to end the Great World War, and the extra space used by the school to hold annual roll calls for the new generation of students. But while roll call was being done, the two John siblings, the eldest ones, finally reunited with their youngest sibling. They looked for seats and close to them. Like next to them and other fellow students and teachers, they waited anxiously, waiting for their name to be called. But it was during that moment that the two eldest brother and sister scolded their little sister while she ran out ahead of them. Hey, Summer, I know you're excited to be the first student since you just turned 16 and we're now 17, 18 years old, but you should have waited for us. You were running too fast and you could have fallen or gotten lost, Luna said in a tired but cautious voice, as she and her brother looked for some seats in the courtyard. Sorry, big brother, big sister. I was just so excited. We're going to be first year students together in the most fantastic place in the entire world. Easy for you to say. You got the high score in the entrance exam, so you're going to the advanced classes, while we, on the other hand, are going to become above average classes. Yeah, that's another thing. The entrance exam determines your ranking, which level of you're going to be in at the school. So if you're above 200s or 300s, you're shoo-in to skip a grade and join the Phoenix clan, which I'll talk about later. And then Summer begins to brag. Well, I didn't bring me to brag, but I did a lot of studying in primary school that we went to when we were little kids. What is that supposed to mean? You were both studied as hard as you did, Summer. As I recount, your activities as late, like fighting and entering on in illegal underground racing, plus accidentally painting your hair purple just to look cool rather than studying than me. This one has a lot of energy. Summer. And then her brothers and sisters say, you wait. You weird normies. I'll be a better student. Oh, actually, no, she says. Liam says this. You just wait. This year, you weird normies, I'll be a better student than you guys. You, Luna, and Summer put together. I almost got my Phoenix Flame element down, and I'll start training for the sparring tournament. Why dragging me into your rant? We're lucky to be attending to school at all. Besides, you know who's the real genius of this family. It's really. I may not have an element like you guys, but at least I got my brilliant mind, and I've built the most remarkable racing airplane. That said in a boastful tone. Oh, that's right. My element has not developed yet, nor discovered yet. But I know when it's finally manifests, it will be better than both of you. Summer says in a less confident tone. I'm sorry to distract you guys, but I overheard your conversation since I'm half Naguru and I have long ears, cat ears. But did you just say you're gonna build a plane? Can I join you? That looks like fun. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you. My name's Ixia Helicon, by the way. Hi there, Ixia. I'm Luna. This is my brother, Liam. And Summer's my young sister. Wait a minute. I recognize your brother from somewhere. You were part of my sparring class in primary school. Yeah, hey, Ixia. Aren't you that half Naguru girl that came with over 10 wins? I think I remember you in my sparring class too. Oh, yes, I remember your name. Weren't you called in class Hothead Lemur? Or that clumsy flame idiot who often got lost his temper? Oh, great. So that other nickname stuck with me. But wait a moment. The first word. That sounds good for a name for a team that I want to make in the sparring club. But instead of my name, I'll use the word Hotheads as the name of my team. Oh, I have to agree with you, Team Captain Liam. Our team name, Hothead, sounds pretty good for the sparring team. And with me joining your sister, I think this year will be fun for me. Can you really manage being in 2 different school clubs simultaneously? Wow, talk about extreme cases multitasking, Liam said. Yeah, I must admit, it's one of my annoying quirks. I have to keep myself busy, or I'll get bored too quickly. So, said Ixia when she was playing with her tail. Multitasking is not a terrible quirk at all, Ixia. If you're good at it, then the school will be a breeze for you. Summer said with a smile. Kid, I like you and your sister already. I don't know about your brother. He seems a little hot-headed idiot. Ixia said as he laughed. He used that name again. Why I had the feeling this will be an extended school year with you two, Ixia, on our sparring team. Relax, Liam. I can assure you that we'll be number 1 with me on your team. Then comes the big moment. As the headmaster of the came to the podium, set for his quick, excellent speeches for the new generation. The Jaiku masters assigned teaching roles each stood up beside him. He gave the address and asked that all students stay and create a line so he can properly set them into the 6 school clans and gain the opportunity to take part in a long-standing tradition, the guarding of the treasure that belonged to the founders of the for just a remainder of the first year. After minutes of waiting in line for their academy ID, other essentials, the Johnson siblings were finally the first year students. The first level of schooling, which basically, guys, this is how it works in the world of Jaiku Knights, the Jaiku Academy. Primary school is like entering high school, 9th grade. It's a little mix of that. And you'll also get mix of your second semester. Each year is like 4 or 5 semesters, depending on how good is your test scores and stuff like that. So that's something to keep in mind when reading. And another thing, student academy IDs. These IDs are like very important for students because you get not only it identifies you as a student, but it's like a debit card for when you do missions or requests at the school, and usually goes by your initials, date of birth, and a random set of numbers. And this will also allow a person to access most of the areas of school, like the library, recreational, many places in the school, hospital, many other places. So back to the book. So the John siblings were first years, like I said, on the banner of the Bear Clan. So Urusa, Bear Slayer, the sword maker, famous sword maker and teacher of one of the heroes of the Great Global War, Chiyoko Watanabe. Bear Clan represented ferocity, courage, love, duty to the protection of the innocent. Out of the many students, one was called to the podium to receive his treasure, the Amulet of Life, a powerful artifact imbued with the life force of nature itself. That student selected was Summer, who was very excited with her favorite siblings and her parents who were at the podium. Once Summer received the amulet from the headmaster and placed it around her neck, she felt a slight tingle sensation before she returned to her seat next to her siblings, unaware that slight tingling, that object not around her neck, was later proved the source of both of the troubles and how she would escape near-death situations. After the school clan treasure guardian was chosen, fellow schoolmates of the Bear Clan swore to keep the amulet's location and its guardian a secret from any rival school clan. After selection of the new treasure clan, masters from the school clans would make large group of students to the primary residential tower. From there, they would get their first year uniforms and essential supplies, which is another important thing about the academy. Academy produces its own books and clothing, and every special need one needs to work at school and stuff, because some students have the ability to, let's say, grow trees, and with trees you make paper. That way they don't harm the natural area of the trees. The trees that grow naturally around, they can just grow a giant tree and cut it up, make paper, as much paper as they want. Same with clothing and everything like that. There's students studying, and this is a way for them to gain some money. And this also a place it's called the quartermaster's room, so they can just not only get uniform, which, by the way, it's standard uniforms of the first year is a white button down long sleeve with a sleeve, the collar has the white, the color of the school clan, and then it also has the badge of the academy logo. You have a gray vest, jacket vest, pants or skirts, black shoes, also winter gear like jackets and stuff, hoodies, equipment for also winter clothes, everything that you need is either in the quartermaster or the recreation center, which is basically the school mall. There's many options for academy members. It's a giant library, massive books collection dating back to the founding, but these books are recreated. The older books are the ones that were recreated. You got a school gym, really massive school gym, and a elementary arena / gym for those individuals who have very destructive elemental powers. So back to the story. After they got the uniforms and supplies, students would get their class schedules, a list of school's clubs, and finally, dorm assignments for those of the students that wish to live independently. Fortunately for the Johnson siblings, they live with their parents at a family dorm. Family dorms are like a miniature apartment complex. They carry, it's a 3-room apartment with 2 bathrooms and a kitchen, living room space, 1 bathroom, obviously for the children, the kids, and 1 master bathroom for the parents. So after they picked their things for the rest of the year, the students were given another crucial orientation on academy grounds. This time, all available students, facilities will take them anywhere in the academy ground. The library, like I said, in the past, a collection of modern and ancient books, the whole school hangar, many aircraft are housed and ready for field trips or trips across the world. Then, after that, this trip, the little tour of the academy was over. Most students had gone for the assigned dorm. So at the same time, the John F. Kennedy simply took the school train for the Bear Clan's residential tower, where their family dorm was located. Once home, they prepared the supplies and uniforms for tomorrow, and then they joined the parents for an evening dinner. By nighttime, the family had readied themselves for bed early, but just before Summer had decided to go to bed, Summer taken the amulet alive and placed it inside a small box between the family and placed it on the bookshelf of the family room. Then she went to her and Luna's shared room for sleep. Next morning, after their mother made breakfast sandwiches for the three kids. EM, Luna, and Summer quickly grabbed their school bags, ran downstairs to the train station where the 3 would take different trains to various parts of the school grounds. Alone in one of them, Summer stopped at the Serpent Clan's educational facilities for her first class of the day, World History of Aina, with a well-known teacher named Barik, who has a very strict reputation among students. As she entered the class, she found the classroom was full of first, second, third students. Then the room went silent as a middle-aged, bearded man with long gray hair and chestnut brown eyes, wearing long black sleeveless shirt with some pants and a white master's robe, came to the master's desk, opened his briefcase to get a stick of chalk, and began writing on a blackboard. Welcome, students. I am Master Vadic. This is my world history class, of course. As you know, I expect nothing but absolute perfection. And by now, I have read, you should all have read the required text over the summer break. So we're gonna begin with my favorite civilization of all time, the Shai Imperium. Vadic stood near the blackboard and began his lecture, but at the same time some students began to take notes. Then he began to ask questions to test the students who apparently read the book at night during the summer break. So, despite the given reputation of the Aina alliance, the Shah Imperius, under the guidance of its glorious emperor Ragamatra, was one of the greatest civilizations of the Aina. It had achievements that no other country of both past and present was not able to achieve. Can someone tell me what achievements of both the first and second Shai Imperium had, and why did these two suddenly collapsed? According to the readings in the text, the first Shai Imperium, before its revival, was the first of many empires in the early Aina days. To achieve advances in military science, agriculture, military, but unfortunately, like many great empires of old, it would fall during the Great Earthquake, undoing many of the achievements of modern days. So what happened next? An empire big and powerful as the Imperium could not have just disappeared from Aina. After the Great Earthquake, newly formed Second Shai Imperium under Ragamatra would rise from the ashes, which would restore the Imperium to its former power, but at the cost of enslaving the entire world for nearly 800 years. Answered 1/3 year students. This is a section in history many scholars get wrong. It's more like a corrective or alteration, not the enslavement of the populace. Remember, the state of the world was under utter chaos and unbalance during the terrible period of the Great Earthquake. Can someone tell me any achievement or feats that the Imperium was known for? This new Shai Imperium must have had some for them to be in the history book and in the many ruins that spread across Aina. But it asks the class. The second Shai Imperium, unlike its predecessor, was known for three negative achievements that proved its downfall. First, the practice of dark science, which was science that was unrestricted by moral and ethical reasons, which led to human experimentation, animal cruelty. This allowed for the creation of biological monstrosities that deterred any who would challenge the king's rule. The second was religion, the four heavens, which it was believed that Ragamatra was arrived from the heavens to save all Aina from the chaos. Third achievement was its military campaign to conquer and enslave the entire world, which nearly succeeded had it all the modern day countries had risen to fight for their individual freedoms. Summer said as she raised her hand to answer Baddock's question. All three students produced a very fascinating response, especially you, young lady. It was a lengthy but very detailed answer. What is your name? Baddock answered Summer in a calm but yet sinister tone. My name is Summer John. I'm a first-year Berry Clan student. I read our class's history book just a few months before the school started. I find it interesting reading about the downfall of the Second Imperium. As Baddock continued his lecture on the Shasha Imperium, Summer answered all his questions. Yet, unexpectedly, a second-year student named Kia Urchain, a dragon nomad, disturbed his class by standing up on her desk, openly challenging Baddock over his overly optimistic take on the Imperium, even going as far as singing an old post-war victory song. As a result, she received detention notice by Baddock, who was apparently enraged that someone insulted his passion and authority as a master. Now, before I finish this first of many lectures for this topic, I have one final question before dismissing you all. I want the name of the man who served as both high priest and general of the Imperial Army during his last months. I expect the answer by next class. Once the class ended, Baddock approached Summer, said to her, "You seem to be the only student to be interested in this course. If you want, you can help me tomorrow, since it's a rest day for the entire academy. What kind of type of help you need, Master? I have an important experiment, and I need someone as interested as you to help me with the testing part of the experiment." "Sure, I can help you, Master. But when do I have to come? Since I must be home at a particular time, I can prepare for classes after the rest of the day." After she placed her school book in her bag, something trouble's happening. Baddock seems someone we should be aware of. Come around very early in the morning to the classroom. That way, no one can interrupt us during the experiment. You can return to your home before anyone even arrives notices your absence." Baddock answered in a fake, kindly tone. After Summer left the classroom and closed the door, Baddock made a similar smirk on his face, and then he began to laugh as two of his goals was within reach. "Foolish girl, this task will be easier than all my years posing as the Academy Master. It must be divine fate that brought my greatest enemy's great-granddaughter to me. Of course, it's clever that the Academy officials had a hand in hiding the child's paternal lineage and that cursed birthmark, since the incident in Ionia. Still, thanks to the intel I gathered over the years, it was pretty easy to gain her academy files and arrange a class change. Tomorrow I'll kidnap her, torture her, and from there I'll force her to give me the location of the Amulet of Life. by any means necessary, even if I give those seals to gain what I seek, and what I want will be gained by obtaining those seals. Oh, he sounds like a bad guy. He's in a really bad guy flags showing. Let's see what happens next. Early morning, Summer dressed up and walked so silently from her shared room with Luna. She tried not to wake her sister up, whose bed was next to hers. After taking an apple from the kitchen, she quickly passed Liam's room, whose door was near the entrance of the family dorm house. Then she quietly closed the door. After exiting her home, Summer took the nearest academy train to the Serpent Clan's educational facility, where Vatic awaited her arrival. Eager to participate in an educational experiment with a highly regarded teacher, Summer blindly rushed into the classroom without realizing that Vatic quietly approached her from behind and covered her mouth with a moist cloth spiked with a paralyzing agent. The effects were too slow. Summer slowly attempted to flee from the room, but Vatic decided to punch Summer in the back of her head to knock her out. Yikes. Don't talk to strangers. Too easy, he said to Zelda, as he ensured no one was present by the hallway. After subduing his prey, Vatic dragged an unconscious Summer across the classroom into his personal library, at which, upon grabbing a book from the bookcase closest to his desk, exposed a hidden door leading to a concealed dungeon that he had been preparing for countless years, before the academy had even been opened its doors, in the years before the Great World War's conclusion. This guy is smart. He built the dungeon ahead of time, knowing this guy's bad. After opening the secret door, Vatic carried and chained Summer up, quickly closing the entrance to the dungeon, exiting the classroom as he expected to watch a single troublesome student named Kia Chain in a room opposite to the classroom. Mr. Kia Chain, I see you are defiant as ever, wearing the trappings of a pathetic ancient civilization that you remained dead, says the guy who worships civilization that technically revolved around the murder and cruel human experience. Those rumors are lies, all lies produced by the Aina Alliance to hide their crimes. The Imperium was the only thing that kept the world running, even if after that great earthquake, brought all civilizations to ruin. What crimes? I say Aina Alliance was the best thing that ever happened to the world. It brought freedom to silence. I will not have a third-year student disrespecting my authority or my field of study. Your punishment for yesterday's outburst will be writing 1,000 lines on the chalkboards, saying, "I will not disrespect the teachers in front of the class. Then I want to reorganize the books for tomorrow's upcoming courses." Vadik escorted Kia to the other classroom to start her punishment. Then he quickly returned to his classroom, promptly closed the door behind him. While Kia began to write her lines on the chalkboards, she began to suspect something was off with Vadik today. While she was moving several books to the front of the room, she found a notebook with the words "Property of Summer John" in the hallways between both classrooms. I wonder what's going on here. Master Grumpy Pants was left in a hurry to his classroom. He might be playing around with some of his experiments or some stupid reading on his favorite subject. In Summer John. I wonder if that's the great girl that raised her hand a lot in yesterday's class. Once Vadik locked the door to the classroom, returned to his dungeon, he used a bucket of water to wake Summer from the drug-induced nap sleep. Once the fully awake Summer tried to move, she noticed that there were chains tied to her wrists and ankles, restricting her movement. Oh, what happened? Why am I bleeding in the head? Where am I? Summer thought as her vision slowly returned, yet she felt a slight pain in her head. Hush, little one, your answers will come in time. I just need you to make a final preparations before starting the experiment. Just stay still. These chains are meant to protect you from any unforeseen outcome, like that clumsy fall you took when you arrived in the classroom. Vadik said it after he quickly changed clothes. Master Vadik, why are you dressed like that? Summer said in a weakly voice. Do you happen to remember your answers to my lecture at the Imperium? Example, that lecture I'm currently wearing, as a live example to that lecture, I'm currently wearing the official wardrobes usually reserved for the High Priest of the Shai Imperium. This person was in second command of the empire built by Rakamatra himself. The great colorful robes, the authority, the helm of the four celestial beings joined together, brought the world's savior together, and finally the ceremonial knife of sacrifice. With these items at hand, we can finally start my experiment. What are we evaluating? Summer asked Vadik. Jesse felt slightly uneasy being chained up in a room that looked like a torture chamber. Oh, that's a simple question, little one. We're gonna be using long cherished impurity technique. Don't worry about the knife. It's dull, unsharpened. Now, now, I'm gonna ask you a question. You get it right, nothing will happen to you, and you may leave. But this will happen if you get it wrong. Summer's body stabbed Summer on her leg with a ceremonial knife. She screamed in pain. Vadik quickly covered her mouth with cloth to prevent anyone from hearing her screams. Hush, little rabbit. Don't you scream. not even it hurts. I don't want anyone to learn about our little experiment. Summer's eyes started to overflow with tears. She begged, she begged Barek to stop the study, but he not. He, things only get worse as he only simply displayed a smile. Let's try the question again. Don't worry if you get it wrong, because we can continue repeating the question until you get it right. Where is the amulet of life? Can you please tell me? I know the pain in your leg must be unbearable. You wanted it to end. Suddenly, before answering the Vedic, someone remembered the oath. She and the first year students of the Spear clan, and she said a response that would infuriate Vedic. I don't know where the amulet of life is. The headmaster took it back by accident at the end of the treasure ceremony. So Summer said as she attempted to lie to Vedic to prevent any further stabbings. Wrong response. I know the headmaster giving you the amulet to you. I saw the interaction between you and him in that room, Vedic said as he stabbed his victim again, but this time on the side of her belly. And then he slashed her face, then her upper back. Please, tell me the answer that I truly seek before I lose my patient. I do not know. What are you talking about? Summer attempted to respond, but the danger of bloodlust prevented speaking further. Death will not claim you yet, Summer John. I have ways to extend your life and torment you simultaneously. Will continue until you either answer my next question or when I decide to kill you. Badek used a quick jab with his fist to break several bones on both Summer's leg. Summer screamed in pain, but the cloth in her mouth muffled the noise. Yes, the screams of music to my ears. It reminds me of the days of my first torture with my father before he personally appointed me to a high priest. Remember that pain that will keep you alive, well, barely. While Summer would scream in pain, Barek began to loudly laugh, while at the same time he was removing his contact lenses, revealing his monster's glowing red serpent eyes. Yes. By the way, I'm the High Priest Tivasa, the one you read about in your history book. But right now, you must be wondering why am I torturing you? The answer is very complex, but at the same time, effortless. Revenge and power, you resemble someone I hate, and with every being. And that amulet in your possession is an integral part of my vision to see the resurrection of the Imperium, and more importantly, my father, King Ragamatra. Vedic yelled as he removed the cloth of some blood. Elsewhere in the academy grounds, just a few hours without contact with their daughter, Leon Alayana, along with his various masters and students alike, began an academy-wide search for Summer, who was last seen taking the academy train from the Bear Clan president. Still, footage from arriving at any of the school facilities mysteriously vanished. Someone wanted to impede the search of the single student. But then, finally, someone from the Academy Central train station gave Leon, this is the John sibling's father, along with his wife, a video, a clue, a very important clue to this terrible day. So they found the video of Summer entering the academy train, heading towards the northernmost education facility. Even the train conductors, because academy trains are automatic. They're run automatic. They don't run in just one area. They run multiple sections of the school. Since the school is not a giant city-like structure mixed with old and new buildings. So they found a footage of Summer heading towards one of the northernmost, and these people thought that's weird, because the next day, today was arrest day. Like, arrest day for the academy. It's a day to get, like, rest yourselves before the long, heavy work that's coming ahead. You know, enjoying a little bit of freedom before school starts. Everything was strange that whole day. But there's a twist on that day. As the conductor of the operation says this to Aliana: "You usually were correct, Mrs. John. But in this case, someone managed to hijack one of our trains, remotely operated with a disguised mannequin on the conductor's chair. Additionally, what concerns me is the security footage of your daughter cuts off upon your daughter's arrival to whatever destination this individual wanted her to be." There are many facilities in the northern side of the academy grounds. Maybe we should change how we look for Summer. Have you tried looking at her class schedule or new school activities she might be involved in? We're now introducing one of the key characters in this book. Best family friend, Gergo. Gergo Achilles. Sorry if I'm butchering some names. But this guy's a family friend of the John family. They go way back. He is from Aonia. It once seafaring empire that turned into a pirate haven after the earthquake pretty much destroyed it. So Leon, it's happy to see him. He just arrived from Darnell Child. Yes, upon reaching the rank of master, you'll be doing a lot of diplomatic missions and stuff to help around the world. You send people like in groups of 3 or 4. All of it is charity, you know, help with science, you know, nature, stop a war, stuff like that. And there are 113 levels. He's a high one. He's a wise man. His ancestry is about Roman or Greek. Aonia, that's how it was. It is until it was overrun by pirates and everything was lost. So now here we are, reunited with his best friend Leon and not Liana. He was hoping to see him and the kids before the busy term started. But on the way, he heard about what happened to Summer, and he's asking them how they're holding up. So yeah, he's comforting Aliana. You know, this guy's like an uncle to them, to the family. The wise uncle. With many secrets that you'll find in the book. He belongs to the same clan as Summer or the John family. He is part of the history department, archaeology. You'll find out later. And his other more secretive job, one that he had as a youth. He's the man of reason. Like, whenever Leon is angry and wants to, like, let's say, right now in this situation, he wants to hurt the guy who took his baby girl, stuff like that. But this guy just calms people down. And now Liam says he wants to help too. Luna want to search it around with her. Everyone wants to help. And then comes 2 of the John family home friends, family home. Sorry, to John family friends, Nguru warriors. Not so fast, old friends. You're gonna need it. Nguru's warriors senses to search for summer. The names are Kara and Gunny. They're happy to see them. Gotta go. When did you have time to call everyone here? Leanne is like surprised and happy that now there's people that can help him. I'm telling you, Nguru people are a step above amazing. The extant warriors, they descended from many feline species, big cats, even small cats. Karangani are lion, related to lions of Africa and stuff, or at least the baby. Yeah, I would say that. They're siblings, they're tall, imposing too. They have humanoid face structure, except they have teeth that are different. Everything is altered to match human. Just like the Hisia, the snake people. Like Aya Orochi, the founder of the academy. One of the founders. She's a Hisia halfling. So that means she has some ability, humanoid characteristic, and some snake characteristics. And along with that, they have everyone in the world of Aina have extended lifespans, and they age slowly. So the group split in two. Liang, Ergo, Achilles, and Gunny headed to north portion. At the same time, they began to prepare a strategy if they encounter someone's kidnappers or kidnapper. Lian, do you have any ideas why somebody would be targets? Gunny asked Lian in his heavy Nguru accent. You know my daughter has a strange birthmark, starship birthmark. I think she will be a powerful elementary. I would like to get my fist or sword on the guy who decided to take one of my own kids. I wonder if someone managed to do the impossible and discover Aliana's heritage. There are too many angry Anonians from back in the day, from that year. And if they took this summer due to the close resemblance to Aliana's mother, right now I should just use caution, as we could be facing descendants of the country's military force. If we're going to be careful, we should use the cover at night. We will surprise them behind, right, Garaguri? I think we should let's start with a separate land educational facility. According to the summer schedule, Her first stop will be in the history course with Master Vadik. Oh, is that the strange master obsessed with the Imperium? From what I heard from some of my students, he strictly focuses on the Imperium while ignoring the rest of Aenian history. Says Gergo. I agree. It's really a ironic name. Is it possible why he's always so has a pissed off face? Perhaps we paid Vadik a visit. I'm sure she would aid us in our search for summer. Now, late evening, back in the Vadik's secret dungeon, same question was asked countless times. Barely alive, Summers was a constant bridge between life and death, only for Vadik to use pain in the form of beating, cutting, or breaking out bones to keep her life awake. Impressed that Summers refused to answer a question, Vadik decided to use his final interrogation technique. Uh-oh, something bad's gonna happen. I have to admit, you have strong will power to live, Miss Summerjohn. You are among the many victims in my ears of service to the Imperium to stay alive this long. Enough for me to use the technique on you, Summer. So let's give you as a reward for being such a good lab rat. How about I give you the experience of a lifetime? Now, before I begin, have you ever heard about torture seals? Due to her grievous injuries obtained the past hours, Summer could not answer or respond. But she knew too well what torture seals were. During the last years of the Great World War, Ragamatra attempted to develop his form of sealing by alternating hand signs usually used to seal objects or memories and replacing them with memories of physical pain gained from his victims. Before I begin with the process, let me read you a passage from my favorite history book, Imperium Victory, Imperium Forever. It's a detailed account of the Second Imperium. It was written by me, of course, since it was and still am the High Priest. Before the actual world began to crumble against the terrible Aena alliance, it's the King of Great Kings, Emperor Ragamatra, discovered a way to destroy his enemies that threatened to lead the innocent populace astray, bringing those infected with the traitor's heart to see the consequences of their actions. Using the mystical art of sealing, which she discovered through stolen scrolls, the elders, the God King, created the ultimate art of the torture seal to deter all who oppose them. Vada continued reading passages from this book while performing the hand sign with a ceremonial knife. Then, at a specific part of the book, he began to read aloud the entire process. You start the ritual by first chaining your victim to the wall. Well, that step's already done. Second, you force your victim to raise his arm, then take out the ceremonial knife and stab it to your skin forearm, one at a time. Next step is to use the knife to dig through a victim's skin until you reach the bone. Then you carve the shaisha, character for pain. Then use your most painful memory to finish the process. Once the seals are on the victim, the next step is to wait for the victim's torture symbol to be visible on your body. Then the victim will be at your mercy, or the mercy of the sealer. Vadic followed his book's instructions, and Summer was in the most profound amount of pain. Blood from both of our forearms, all the other wounds were slowly oozing down until she reached the floor of the dungeon, nearly forming a pillow in the process. After finishing Summer on forearms, some Vadic places bloody ceremonial knife on his nearby table, then rolled up one of his sleeves, exposing an arm filled with strange diamonds-like patterns. Then he rolled up his sleeve. Just as he rolled up his sleeves, Vadic turned his attention to a small design that slowly developed on the tall power of his right palm. Oh, look here, Summer. With this simple pattern, I can cause you tremendous amount of pain, whenever and wherever you are. Maybe if you survive, that is, this last remaining hours. Vadic pressed on the torture symbol on the back of his hand. Simply watched with amusement that he saw Summer struggle and scream with pain. Did you know that you are my 185th victim? You can see all the torture symbols in my entire arm. Countless like you have undergone the same procedure since the end of the Great World War. You should have stayed so quiet the day we met, or better yet, refused to accept the amulet. Then perhaps you would have been home with your family. But eventually, I would have had to deal with all of you. He pressed the torture symbol again, and this time Summer finally screamed out in pain before finding in the floor. After the change mechanisms that tied her to her will malfunction and released her, Vadic continued to laugh as one of his long-time goals was within reach of. But in his blind ignorance, he let his guard down, unaware that his undoing was just a few feet away from his classroom. After hearing the screams from far away, Kia Chen, who decided to skip her attention in the classroom next door, ran out as fast as she could to Vadic's classroom. Then she chose to slash the door open in half with her sword. After following the blood trail, Kia quickly used her ability to create a pyroclastic earth, then smashed through the locked bookshelf and a hidden door entrance to Vadic's dungeon. Then ran inside the room with her sword drawn from its scabbard. After the smoke cleared, Kia found herself standing under a puddle of blood next to the battered body of Summer, who was in dire need of medical help. Kid, are you alright? Kia tried to ask Summer, but she received no response. only heard a small gasp of breath. I don't think she can listen to you, Mr. Chain. Someone here is on the verge of death. Few seconds are crucial. Do you want to fight me or before Vadek finished his sentence? Leon John, Gregor Alcarlis, and Gunny Valen rushed inside on the room. All three, especially Leon, they were both shocked, all enraged upon seeing the horrid state of his daughter. Vadek, what did you do to my daughter? Oh, tick-tock, my fellow masters. Time is concise, and it's crucial. Life or death decision before us. Mr. Chain, please take my daughter to the closest hospital. I'm placing my trust in my daughter's life in your hands. Capable hands. You got it, Master John. Kia carried Summer away from the dungeon and ran towards the closest ledge. Then, using a small wooden whistle, Kia summoned her battle dragon mount and flew to great haste to the nearest hospital adjacent to the academy grounds. But before she landed near the Lady Hana Medical Center, a medical research facility jointly run by the International Medical Staff, it was a quick light holding Summer. With both students safely away, the three Dragon Masters finally engaged the enemy, bringing a swift end to this entire incident. Faced with three masters, Vadek attempted to use his oversized sword to overpower his disappointment. Still, it would prove his down at disadvantage, as Liam Gregor used the sealing technique with the Earth's abilities to bind Vadek and hold him in place until other masters arrived with Nukiel to guard. After being pursued, Vadek began to talk to the three masters to bring down their guard and escape. I suppose I will have my early retirement, said Vadek in a chuckling voice. You're not now able to make a joke, Lord Vadek. To think you are the high priest of that man. I should gut you for torturing my daughter. But why don't you? It's only natural for someone to feel a little bit murderous, especially when once his family is injured by another individual such as yourself. Will not grant you that satisfaction, unlike you, who never had the word honor in your Imperium vocabulary, unlike us, who we dedicate ourselves only to protecting life. Curious, why did you infiltrate the Jaco Academy? Was it for Master Ursa's amulet or revenge for his students' descendant? I have to admit, it was a mixture of both, and corrupt the minds of countless generations of students in serving the only true power of Avinia. How do you intend to do that when you're rotting prison for eternity? Leon said. Take heed to my words, fellow master. I'll bring the destruction to the Dragonite. I'm a very patient man. I could wait for many decades, centuries, to achieve my goals. And you're also good at failing at everything. Just look at your current predicament. You are, like they say in my village up in Mahania, trapped like a injured prey. So the FFB said jokes. You know, I was glad that I took part of your species near extermination. If only we had time before the war to finish the job. Lord Felic, you seem to forget that Naguru are strong survivors, unlike you in the Imperium. After other Dragon Masters and the nuclear guard escorted Vatic to the prison island of Lakshan II had arrived, Lee and John Garago, or Achilles, and Gunny Valen walked out of the room to join Aliana and Kara. They were waiting for updates on back in the John family dorm. Before exiting the room, they saw Vatic being escorted by an awaiting academy train, staring directly at them with a smile. Meanwhile, from the Serpent Clan's education facility on the emergency entrance to the Hana Senator Medical Center, Kiara Jane, just having landed her battle dragon, jumped off of it. She carefully carried Summer inside the facility where she rested inside and attempted to reach for help. Is there anyone here to help this kid? She's bleeding out. Kia frantically called out in the hospital's entrance. Doctors ran towards Summer with a stretcher and medical bed, while Kia was ordered by the medical staff to wait inside the medical waiting exit room. After the first examination and performing vital medical procedures on Summers, doctors soon realized that their new patient had an unauthoritative set of deep, almost fatal wounds that looked like a savage beast attacked her. Summer was immediately transferred to the medical center's intensive care unit. She was given a set of blood transfusion to replace all the blood she had lost during Vatic's torture seal ritual, and wounds sustained in the process. In addition to multiple blood transfusion, Summer was also to be placed in a room where she would be placed inside a huge bathtub filled specialized with warm water that would quicken the body's natural healing process. Soon, most of the knife wounds started to heal slowly as a reaction of the water came into contact with her skin. Wow. This is crazy. Summer hopefully survived this encounter. A very dangerous situation. Folks, having a torture seal in the world recognized not a fun thing at all. Imagine if you were chained up with that technique. It's literally like being chained to your captor, and then with a single button, he can torture you. You'll feel all your nerves you'll be feeling like you're being tased with a taser gun, stab, or any type of wound, but it's not there. That's how it feels. And with all those stabbing, punching, cracked bones, just oof. How is Summer's gonna recover from this, guys? It's gonna be very intense. So finally, after a while, Aliana and Leanne and their important siblings and their children finally arrived at the hospital along with the Gergo Archelaus and the Valen twins. After arriving at the hospital, they met Kia. They thanked her for rescuing the daughter from certain death. So as soon as doctors came, talked to everyone about the disturbing news, an unpleasant amount of shock was in the air. Mr. and Mrs. John, what I'm about to tell you about you may cause some difficulty in understanding the situation. Your daughter was a lucky girl. In all our years of operation, we never experienced someone so brutally injured and within just a few inches away from dying. Only for her, for that same person, to survive. It's a truly miracle, but the road to recovery will be a significant challenge. Another fact about Torture Seal: while Summers was being tortured before the knife and stuff like that, all those beatings and cutting, stuff like that, she could have died like right there and then. Like a few inches from vital veins. I think it was Static, or that baddie we know and love as Devassa. He was also a medical expert. He knew where to hit you, how to hit you, and exactly how to make you suffer the most. On that day, Summer had arms, legs broken, several ribs broken, portion of. Luckily, she didn't get any skull fractures and stuff like that. Well, yeah, she did. She got several deep wound cuts, belly, some in the face, thigh, leg. Basically, her legs were like cut all over. Her foot, it was very bad. Worse than anything in real life. I wonder how she's gonna recover. Okay, back to the story. So, the doctor comes in, tells them why it's going to be a challenge for her to recover. Currently, your daughter is in a healing bath, receiving another round of treatments for her injuries. But what concerns me is the amount of damage she received in several areas of interest, especially her forearms, which have some savage methods to have a strange carving on the bone itself. As I feared, she was torture sealed, that cruel man drew into your war, says Leon. My poor baby, she suffers so much. Leon, don't be sad. Summer will get through this obstacle. I sense a warrior with spirit within her. She'll fight for her life. Kara said to Liana as she gave her an encouraging embrace. Summer was torture-sealed. But how? Hey, Gregory, I thought you said once that to perform that signal technique will take years of preparation. Yes, that is true. Barek was very ready to perform that ritual. In this case, as a master of the academy, he would have had access to the information on sealing via the forbidden section of the Grand Library. He also has the means to move around freely, gather all the necessary materials to commit his heinous actions. Although additionally, there's also the fact that Vatic is in fact the high priest of the Second Shai Imperium, yet time and patience to wait for the shadow of his false identity, for the right moment to strike. How did he manage to strike, to infiltrate the school so long? Why did he want Summer specifically? Aliana, please go to the kids. Gunny, Kara, also please go with her. I think she should be in the hospital room right now. I'll continue with the doctors before we can catch up to you. After Aliana was turned into the young Gurur and the leading physician responsible for Summer, talked further about the medical care needed for Summer. Once the doctor left, the men began to discuss the possibility of a new threat to Aina. Leon, I know I said it back in the academy, but I'll say it again. You think Vatic knew about something about your wife's heritage and the fact Summer bears the mark of the four-pointed star? Now for sure. I don't doubt it. Damn it. If I knew something was off the moment I met him for the first time during that meeting before the first start of the first years. You were all fooled by that man. Do not blame yourself. Oh, the doctor came again. Sorry to disturb your conversation, Mr. John, but I think you should know one more thing about the injuries that you started from. Upon closer inspection, with our X-ray machine, we concluded young Summer was given death torture seals, the most dangerous kind of torture seal. I heard it killed like nearly thousands of people in this hospital since this first opened during the second phase of the Great War. I hope we can do everything in our power and best to help your daughter and your family through this challenging process, the physical physician said to Liam. After talking to Dr. Liam, Gargo met with Aliana, Kia, Gunny, Kara, and his 4 children, who were all waiting patiently for Summer's assigned room. From there, after countless hours of medical treatment, she was placed under medical-induced coma to aid in the healing process. Upon entering the room, the appearance of various life support systems, seeing both his wife and daughter, bandaged in a medical bed, was almost made enough for Leanne to storm out of the room in anger. Master Archelaus, is the kid gonna be alright? Kias asked in a worried tone. I'm not sure, Mr. Chang, but one thing's for sure, things would have gone turned for the worst for young Summer without your valiant effort. Kia, is it? Thank you for saving my daughter. We as the family, I need to help right now. Not at all, Master John. To be honest, I felt that somehow, eventually I would kick Vadik's butt for his many insults on my culture. I just hope that Summer recovers fast from her injuries, and I will help her in any form. It is safe to say, Mr. Chang is a friend of Summer. Don't you agree, Leanne? Aliana said as she sat on the chair, closely watching her youngest daughter sleep. For several days, the group stayed and waited at the hospital until doctors approved the removal of the life support, other essential equipment, allowing the John family to discharge Summer from the hospital, and the planned next course of action. Unexpectedly, 2 minutes before the Summer's release from the hospital, some senior members of the academy, including the headmaster and old friends of the John family, came briefly to visit Aliana and Leanne, who were carrying Summer along a bag of medicine and her old clothes and a few days' worth of specialized bandages. While walking outside, awaiting a vehicle that will take them to the family back to the academy grounds, the headmaster ordered the John family, along with Kia, her chain, to take a brief recess in a remote region in Giona that was all familiar to Lee and John. An extended recess on my family home? What about the academy work? The Vatican's investigation, my children's schooling? Liam, Aliana, don't worry about anything. Everything will be taken care of. I want you both just focus on your daughter's speedy recovery. Once Summer wakes up, contact me, and I'll have to be sending a team of medical professionals, some tutors, to keep your children, to help keep your kids catch up in their schoolwork. After finishing the brief conversation with their headmaster and other senior staff, John family along Kyoto got on a waiting academy airplane, where it quickly took off to the sky. The flight took 2 hours. Still, it reached extended a hidden entrance to a nearly unknown region in Giona, simply known as the Quiet Land, a mountainous, deep forest region where the John family farm stood for centuries. Midnight, just after arriving at his family home, Leon carefully carried sleeping Summer into one of his siblings' old bedrooms, while the others settled in other rooms. While the sounds of the farm animals, Leon's mother, and Aliana, in the other kitchen preparing a quick meal, felt homely for everyone. One thing remained on everyone's mind. When Summer herself was able to wake up from her medically induced slumber. So guys, the Quiet Lands in Giona is a very, very treacherous terrain. It's a mountainous area, hard to get to the farm unless you know the route to safely pass through the area, the secret road. The John family existed for like a very long time. They're descendants of individuals from the countries of Earth, mostly Ireland, Scotland. Explorers. They first started explorers, but as years went by, they became farmers. And to build their house, they used their boats. And they combined their last names together. So one name was Johnson and the other one's O'Neill. And as an act of this joining of the two families, they made it into John. So now, late morning, after everyone woke up and ate breakfast cooked by Ian's mother, all today's focus was on making sure Summer was comfortable for the long road to recovery. However, unexpectedly, amidst the walking in the hallway to get a broom to sweep the front of the house, Ian heard a loud noise coming from Summer's room. To his surprise, the origin came from Summer herself, who woke up to try to stand from her bed, but due to the medical heavy bandages wrapped around her weakened legs, she fell on the floor. Liam rushed in and carefully carried her sister back to the bed. Then he rushed outside and called everyone over to Summer's room. Once the news of Summer's improved condition reached everyone, they all rushed in her room, where to their surprise they found her fully awake, but ultimately lost in surroundings. Where am I? Without answering the daughter's question, Leanne simply embraced their daughter tightly and with great relief. Well, sleepyhead, it looks like you finally woke up. I'm so glad that you were okay. I know men are not supposed to, but like Luna said, I'm so happy that the worst has come to pass, said Liam, as he was trying to keep himself from crying. Hey, little Hopper, you've been out for a cold for a long time. I'm glad you were awake and alert, said Kia. Who are you? Who are you? My name's Kiara Chain. I'm a fellow classmate. I just saved you from a colossal nightmare. We're currently at your grandparents' house somewhere in the mountains. Kia said, replied with a smile. Kia, it's good to meet you. My name is Summer John. I think I remember you sitting in my class. Yep, just a few rows near you, next to the window. Unexpectedly, Summer asked a single question. Then he caused Kia to reveal to her new friend the horrible events that almost resulted the loss of her life. Kia, can you tell me why do I feel so weak? I don't know. The only thing I could say right now is focus on your recovery. You simply have a bad fever, and the rest The family helped you to save you. Kia answered with a killing smile, as she knew the terrible truth of that fateful day would devastate Summer. After the emotional reunion, everyone rushed outside to prepare a small celebration. However, once alone in her bedroom, Summer looked at her under her bed sheet to investigate why she felt weak. Various tubes and wires attached to her legs. It was only a matter of time before she suddenly her memories on the type of Vadic dungeon returned. Triggering an overwhelming sense of fear and sadness as she saw her scarred face reflection in the mirror. Upon hearing Summer cry, Kia returned to the room, stood by the door, said the words that brought a sense of calmness. "Don't worry, little Hopper. Nothing like that day will ever happen to you ever again. Not as long you have your family, your friends around. But what if Vatican comes around and attempts to harm you or anyone else, it will be stopped by my sword. But right now, do us a little favor. Huge favor, little Hopper. Just relax forever." "Why you calling me by my name?" Summer asked as she wiped her tears. "Because on that very first day, you were too excited about school. Plus, in that bachelor's room, you were among the few students who were answering questions like crazy, so I said to myself, she's so hyper like a little grasshopper. So the name fits you perfectly." Elsewhere, off the southern coast of Giona, after his arrest for kidnapping and usage of the high-level torture seal on the minor, Vadic, under heavy armed guard escort, was taken to Lakshan 2 prison island, to await his criminal trial as in a judge's court in Kyoto. One day after arriving to prison, Vadic was visited by the 5 black hooded cloaked visitors who snuck inside his court cell room. Began to plot a grandiose escape plan to further a goal he'd been building long before since the Great Global War. That was full. Are you guys the new 4 family members that the 4 heavens decided to stand to my aid? We are. Are you okay, right, my lord? Once we heard your current predicament, the family judge decided to send us to rescue you. One of the 4 individuals asked in a concerned tone. Well, I am indeed well, my young one. This minor setback is my planned way of finally completing a single phase of my long-term mission to restore the Imperium. What is your plan, my lord? What's your escape plan? How can we aid you? Did anyone you retrieve my soul death from the prison storage? Yes, we have it here. But what you will do with it? Asked one of the female members. My daughter. Since you 5 are the youngest members of the called, I'll explain my plan in detail. But first, my sword must be freed. It has been fought too long. the taste of blood. Badek bit his thumb, placed it on the sword on the ground, and allowed a small quantity to drop on the skull hilt, causing the weapon to briefly shake before it stopped together. My instructions are straightforward and yet awe-inspiring. Take my sword and place it near the front gate of the new Kyoto house. From there, I'll summon my sword to bring my form of judgment to the courtyard judges. At the same time, the 5 of you will manage to clear paths out of New Kyoto and return to headquarters for further orders. After finishing the meeting with the 5 cultists, he ordered them to disperse before the New Kyoto guards arrived to retrieve him for his court trial. Once his disciples left, he waited patiently and quietly and saddened. Then he would begin to strategize every detail of his escape route in the form to the even form of execution he will need to keep the gun charge. With that being said, guys, this is a preview of book 1. Thank you, guys.